In 2018, Analytica selected him as the sixth most influential BI analyst worldwide. In many countries, he helps clients designing their data and BI architectures and selecting the best product. He is the author of a series of books about virtualization, and he's also giving a lot of courses for the data forening in Norway. I have the pleasure to welcome Rick Vanderland.
Thank you.
Today we will discuss an exciting and new data architecture concept called data on-demand data architecture, and its promises to make the world greener. Rick, over many years you have been participating in the development of the current data architectures. Mm-hmm. You have seen an increasing demand in treating steady bigger amount of data in all industries. What do you think is the biggest challenge of current data architectures?
Yeah, to be honest, I don't think there's just one. I think we're being faced by a number of big challenges if we design new data architectures. Data privacy, for example, is one. How do you build a new data architecture where data privacy is perfectly guaranteed, right? That is a challenge. But I think right now, one is that if you look at some of the new architectures that are being designed, it's almost as if they are designed in the same way that we did 30 years ago. And we should not do that because technology has moved on. We have much more processing power. We have cloud platforms. We have so much more capabilities. We can simplify our architectures. But I think one of the current challenges is to tell everyone that we can do it more simply. Even if we're processing more data, if we have more users, we have products on the market, we have cloud platforms that allow us to simplify our data architectures. But the challenge is, how do we convince everyone that it can be done? Other companies have shown that it can be done, but it's if you, for example, look at how much copying we still do in our new architectures, and you go like, why? Is that really, really necessary? And if you look at some of the architecture, the answer is no. It can be done in a simpler way.
So it's a kind of change of mindset, according to you.
Yes, it's a different mindset. It's for example, the most classic architecture we have is the data warehouse architecture. And if you look at how companies have implemented that architecture, it's all a little different, but it's also the same. They're all copying to staging areas, to warehouses, to data marts, but literally that architecture was designed, or let's say created, over 30 years ago. I mean, I cannot imagine that in this world of IT that we still should design architectures in the same way that we did 30 years ago.
It's a bit like building a house in an old fashion.
Yeah. It should not be that way. So we're a little stuck in our own ways, and that shouldn't be the case.
And you have mentioned and insisted when you have your lecture that one of the problem is that we are copying and copying.
Yeah.
So how can data on demand architecture solve it, or partly at least?
Right. So the idea of a data on demand architecture is very simple: less copying. So it's almost as if we're pushing all the requests for data sort of to the original source. And then, of course, if you do that, you still have to do a lot of processing, and you have to do it live instead of in batch, let's say. But data on demand, the whole idea is first of all simpler architecture, less copying from all kinds of angles. That's a good idea, and that leads to data on demand, right? Which is something they've already doing in the video industry, right? Who still goes to a video store to get an DVD, right? No, we just start up Netflix and we say that's the movie that we want to see, and it will just come to you live. Same with music, we don't go to record stores anymore. So if we can do it with video, and if we can do it with music, why not with data, right? And luckily, we see more and more examples. You see hospitals allowing patients to sort of go to the portal and access their own personal data, right? Unthinkable 30 years ago, but doable today. But we have to move on with that. And there are so many more cases where we can do that. Data on demand makes it simpler.
and less copy of data, if we manage that,
Yeah.
in what way is going to be greener? And how can we talk about greener architecture in that sense?
Yeah, the simple explanation is that if you use less resource usage, less storage, less processing, less memory, it means you're using less energy.